Simi has to break the spell. We got to hope that Simi breaks the spell of the 5th round pick syndrome here. And he's got an opportunity to do it because you got guys that are out. Here are the 5th round picks since 2012. Simi from last year, last year, who didn't play. Bradley and I, Mike and Joe Jackson. Quarterback Mike White, Ryan Russell. Devin Street. I remember Devin Street. I think it's Pops or something like that. Strange. Joe Randall and Danny Cole. Not a great list. When the most successful 5th round pick was shoeless Joe, Joe Randall, who stole some draws in Cologne from a Macy's. You got a problem, folks. You got a problem. But sounds like Simi Fehoko is getting a little bit better. Let's take a quick listen to what Kyle Youmans had to say up close and personal watching Simi at OTAs.
And I thought a couple guys, one was Simi Fehoko from last year's draft pick, and a guy who never really got to see playing time and was really an afterthought on this roster throughout last season. I thought he finally got legitimate reps with the quarterbacks. And Dak Prescott involved, but also Will Grier, Cooper Rush in there too. And I thought Fehoko looked good. He looked quicker. Not necessarily like a massive step forward in terms of the quickness, but his routes are sharper. His footwork looks crisper. I mean, he has had a visible improvement. You can see that in the early parts of training camp. And, I mean, in terms of the way that he navigated around the red zone yesterday was something that I had written down as an improvement for sure.
How he navigated around the red zone. What you're going to hear me talk about with these next 2 wide receivers is red zone. Simi and TJ are skyscrapers. If we could give them a nickname, we always give this nickname, at least from my understanding, to 2 tall people, Twin Towers. Right? And I think they could be. One is 6'5", right? I think Simi's 6'5", TJ 6'6". And you hear, I shouldn't say saw, you hear them being involved in the red zone. And I said this about Kellen Moore, and I'll say it again. I think that the mark of a really damn good coordinator is being able to get fringe guys a role or a part of the offense because they have one specific thing that they can do well. And with Simi and TJ, it's size. It's length. Simi's actually got some speed on him as well. It's being physical. Now, as a pure wide receiver, both of those guys have things they got to get better at. And he talked about it. He's become a better route runner. He's a little bit more quicker because big guys is tough. You know, when you 6'5", what is he now, y'all? 220 something? I think they wanted him to put on some weight to play a hybrid role, but I'm not really hearing much of a hybrid anything. Thought it was interesting because he was really excited about TJ Vasher and what he saw. Let's remember, Vasher, I think he got hurt very early in training camp. This is what Youmans had to say about TJ.
And then TJ Vasher, who was a 2021 undrafted free agent, injured last year, never really got a chance to go. He's just like a walking highlight reel. He made one grab yesterday on Anthony Brown on the goal line where Dak threw it in a tight window and Vasher went and got it. And he was in the end zone for a touchdown. He's got a little personality to him too, which I like. He started grittying after the play. It was because he was an undrafted guy who was injured all of last year. Turned around and guess what? He made a play on a starter. He's gonna dance a little bit. So a couple of those receivers getting some valuable reps with Dak and Grier and Cooper Rush and Ben DiNucci of getting into the rotation and getting to play these guys or with these guys throughout OTAs.
Man, you brought up Vasher, and I got excited because I think he could be a weapon, right? Like, he may not be the most crisp route-running guy. He's not the fastest or whatever, but you can't teach 6'6", and he probably can jump 14 feet. So, you could use that in the red zone.
Yeah, his catch radius is the best on the team by far. I mean, he 100% has so much room that he could grow from a fundamental standpoint, but that's something that maybe he was able to kind of focus in on during a quote-unquote redshirt year because he was hurt and because he had time to kind of to talk with these coaches and develop. If he can bring the same sort of speed and the same sort of athleticism that you would anticipate from him, at least from a pass catcher standpoint, I don't see why he couldn't fill a back end of the depth chart role, maybe like a Malik Turner role where he's not necessarily needed a ton of the time. Maybe you could put him on special teams and play out there if he's good at that. I still haven't really gotten a chance to see that to a certain extent. So, hey, if he excels at that, he may be able to find the back end of the depth chart role because I'm with you. I really want to see him shine because I was higher on him. I thought he would have been drafted last year, but the fact that he was signed was really exciting. And then, hey, he's got an opportunity to make it work with that size, that frame, and that athleticism all together.
I thought it was very important to hear him talk about doing special teams things. You saw some of those highlights right there. Vasher wasn't a big-time receiver at Texas Tech, but he's literally big. He's 6'6". You know what I'm saying? He's tall, he's lanky, he's skinny or whatever. But, again, I think an element of being one of the greats or one of the top coordinators is being able to find roles for those specialty type of players. You go look at the Saints. They've done it for years under Sean Payton. You know, I think getting a guy like Vasher, if he's on this team, right? He might not be on the team, but if he makes the team, don't just let him just sit around.